The Tennessee Volunteers got great news once again as they add commitment number 21 to the fold tonight. My name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Tennessee adds three-star defensive lineman Darion Smith out of Maryland, 6'2", 265, as he becomes the 21st commitment in the frame. He visited this past weekend. He announced at the end it was between Tennessee and Ohio State. Based on the video on volquest.com, seems to me like the decision was made before he left town. Austin Price has a video up with him talking the commitment, talking why he committed, the family-oriented recruitment, how this staff, Rodney Garner, Tim Banks, Josh Heupel, Robert Ayers, all really showed that family atmosphere in Knoxville. And I just feel like this staff is really hitting it with, I don't know if it's a case of they've identified the guys who kind of fit with them or what it is, but everything just to me seems so much different than a year ago, where it seemed like a lot of times Tennessee, although Tennessee had a really good recruiting class last year, it was the misses kind of overshadowed who they actually got in. But this year, man, they're hitting on all cylinders, and it's leading up to August 17th is the big one. But up to that point, they could still add possibly a couple more to the equation. But Darion Smith, he's in the equation. He makes Tennessee, he gives them, according to On3, 8th rated recruiting class. And then according to 24/7, they actually have him at 6th right now. So as far as defensive lineman goes in the equation, Tennessee has Marion Dye, 6'5", 270 out of Indiana. They have Ethan Utley, defensive lineman, 6'3.5", 265 out of Nashville. Jaden Lofton, 6'4", 250 out of New Jersey. What does Christian Gass do? Does he play linebacker? Can he play defensive end? That's going to be interesting to see as well. They also have, of course, now Darion Smith, 6'2", 265 defensive lineman. And I'll talk a little bit about what his coaches said about him here in a minute. And then you have Charles House, 6'3", 288 out of North Carolina, Huntersville, which is the Charlotte area. But according to according to On3, so they had an interview with his coach on here, the impact analysis. So they talked about it. So he plays at a high level school up in Maryland. Says he's not a defensive lineman who blows you away with his size, but because he measures in 6'2", 265, but he has room to continue to add to his frame. And his head coach at St. Francis, like I said, that's one of your powerhouse teams in America. Masai Halmariam, I hope that's how you pronounce it, said he came in extremely athletic, strong, explosive. And the coach said he played running back and could easily, because he has such great feet and such a great athlete. We knew ultimately he might end up putting his hand in the dirt, but he had to go through the process himself. He had a lot of guys with him in terms of the national guys that taught him. As far as the talent level, he's kind of pushing toward his best right now. He's ready to show the world what he is about. And Smith talked about it as well with Austin Price. Dominic Bailey, who is one of Tennessee's contributors on the defensive line, played at St. Francis as well. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this. When Jeremy Pruitt was here, they had Aaron Willis in the equation. There was another recruit who was a defensive lineman had signed. He left and went to Jackson State with Dion. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on that one, I'm thinking they're from the same program as well. So Tennessee's had success with this St. Francis program, and you got to think they'll continue to hit that up based on the talent that they're producing up there. And the head coach went on to say again, he said, barring anything unforeseen, he's one of the best, if not the best, that has played for us. He's unblockable. Nothing can compare to this. We knew he was athletic and as strong as a guy like Aaron Donald. That's what we told him to watch and compare to, and said, first of all, he didn't want to play defensive line, but now he's loving the craft, committed to it, and we think each year he's getting better, and his best years are ahead of him. Again, he makes the 5th defensive line commitment, including ends. And, Tennessee always seems to kind of add one to it as well. They lose plenty, they return plenty next year, but you've always got to be adding on either line, honestly, whether it's offensive or defensive. So, and to me, if you're beating out Ohio State, who's ranked number one, at least according to 24/7, I think On Three has them as that as well. Let me pull that up just a minute. I'm pretty sure both of them, yeah, both sites have Ohio State ranked number one overall. The fact that Tennessee beats them for Darion Smith, they're going to go head to head with them again for David Sanders Jr. And barring something crazy, I still feel confident David Sanders Jr. will be a Vol on August 17th. I think it bears watching this weekend. Based on what I'm seeing, offensive lineman Juan Gaston out of Georgia plays the same school as Travis Smith Jr. is announcing. It's between Georgia, Tennessee, and Oregon. And everything I've seen is to not count Tennessee out. It's not said Tennessee's the favorite. No one's predicting them to get him, but they've said Tennessee's in the thick of this one and to not count this out. Hopefully with the Travis Smith Jr. connection, that can play out for Tennessee. Apparently Juan Gaston's childhood favorite was Oregon, but of course you got the home state Georgia program after him as well. My pick would be Georgia that he goes to, but analysts on 24/7, analysts on 3, whether it's your Tennessee analyst or your national analyst, from what I've seen, the consensus seems to be that, like I just said, Tennessee is in the thick of this commitment this weekend. And then, of course, Faison Brandon announces on the 3rd. Tennessee seems in line to get good news for 2026 there. So this program, man, they are on a roll recruiting-wise right now, and we'll see where it goes from there. But got to think we'll see what happens with Gaston. I think that's the most unsure. Onis Konambani out of Columbia, South Carolina. Tennessee, Florida State, he's scheduled to announce next month. Of course, Faison Brandon, August 3rd, and then David Sanders, August 17th. To me, Tennessee has a very good shot to land 3 out of those 4, and possibly 4 out of 4. I think, like I said, I don't know on Gaston because from what the analysts have said, he doesn't talk a lot. And he's been very quiet in his recruitment. So I think it withstands that wherever he announces, I don't know that anyone will know ahead of time outside of maybe his circle of people. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel as trying to cover all 4 sports. And I'm looking at adding softball in the spring as well. I think it'd be a nice addition. People have requested that as well. And, just a guy trying to do his own thing out here, regardless of, what's said anywhere else. I'm not trying to copy anybody. All right. I'm not. If I was trying to copy people, I wouldn't be doing 5 sports on here because no one else is doing that. I hope you'll stay with me for basketball, for Lady Vols basketball, when we get to baseball, when we get to softball. That, to me, those 4, I want that to be the place that people come to for their Vols sports. Football will continue to build it a little bit at a time, as we're doing. But the other 4, I want that to be your stop for Tennessee athletics on YouTube. Baseball, basketball, softball, women's and men's a long way. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you got people talking about pretenders and all that stuff. The only reason I bring mention of that is I'm just really tired of people taking pot shots at people. It's really getting old, and it's getting tiresome along the way. It seems like every time something happens, here goes pot shots out. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and absolute tired of it. I've dealt with it numerous times, and I'll just say it on there. I hate to bring it up. It's so childish. It's so ridiculous. But, I'm just a person out here trying to have fun. And it is what it is. That's the last I'm going to say about any childishness, any stuff like that that's out here. I have it is what it is. Memberships, they are live. If you want to hit the join button, you can check out the tiers on that. House of Orange Patreon is available as well. If you hit that thumbs up, if you'll share it out, the biggest way you can help me out, guys, if you don't want to contribute to the channel, that's fine. If you can share out the content, it's greatly appreciated. If you have not already and you like the content, make sure you hit that subscription button. That way you can subscribe, get notifications, as the plan is. I'm going Monday nights, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time moving forward. Have a great rest of your evening. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel, and I will see you when I see you.